Hi, friends. Welcome to the Sabrina Scott podcast, where I talk all about how to claim your magic and change your life. How's that for a new jingle? Or like a new intro description thing? We're going to try it out. But don't worry, I'm still going to be talking about life, love, healing, witchcraft, magic, spirituality, tarot, feminine energy, and everything in between. So, happy new moon, my friends. I hope the new moon has been treating you guys well. New moon in Capricorn. The vibes are definitely vibing. And I feel like they're going to keep vibing for another few days. And so if you felt too wiped out yesterday to do any magical intention setting stuff, don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. That's not what we want to do. Just do it as soon as you can, reasonably, as soon as you feel able to. And so there's two sides of this, right? It's like on one hand, it's like do it as soon as you feel like you can. And on the other hand, it's like, even if it feels like a stressful thing to do, or you're like, oh my God, I don't know if I have the time to do this. Maybe you're just frazzled right now. I think there is a psychological benefit to pushing ourselves through the stuff that stresses us out, the hard stuff that we're kind of avoiding, even if it's nourishing. It can be really easy to just put it off until forever, and then all of a sudden it's July. So try to walk that balance over the next few days of, leaning into whatever spiritual work, intention setting. First new moon of the year, it's kind of a big deal. Just kind of. So it really is best not to waste this energy. If we can tap into it at least a little bit, like even if you can block out 1 hour, 2 hours, sometime today, sometime this weekend, I think you'll be good to go. Whatever that looks like, even if it's just going on a little walkabout somewhere random by yourself, alone with your own thoughts. You don't even have to write anything down, but just taking that time to contemplate, reflect, and decide what version of reality you want to step into this year and who you want to be. And how can we put that into practice? Like if you don't have the time for a 2-hour walk this weekend and one of your New Year's resolutions is getting a new job, why not spend that hour submitting job applications or working on your resume? That counts as being committed to and reinforcing your intention. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And what else? So I'm slowly migrating all of my courses onto a new platform. And so a lot of you guys probably got some like janky looking weirdo emails. And then the website default template that I didn't even realize until one of my students sent me a screen cap and was like, who's Carl? It was like this template of this cute old man who had a cooking business. Obviously, this is all probably completely fake. It's just the website template with a bunch of stock images. And that is what my login page looked like for a little bit. So I updated it today, so it was going to look a lot like me. It's all real. It's not fake. It's just under construction. So if any of you guys do get those invite emails, please don't delete them. Please just log in and poke around, and if anything looks weird, just let me know. I'm still working on it, and it's probably going to take a while to fully do like the entire switcheroo, just because I've been on Teachable, where I hosted my courses, since 2019, and so it's just been a lot, and my mailing list is also from 2019, so it's just been a lot of work to just migrate stuff from one place to another. And so it's going to be not something that one person can do overnight. So bear with me, but don't worry. If you don't have access to something that you need access to, feel free to be in touch. I'm still migrating, especially my tarot and magic without bullshit students. Those are my most popular courses. And so I'm just going through everything, and it's taken a while. So please be patient, and thank you in advance. on the topic of courses and workshops and masterclasses. So I am so excited about this next workshop that I'm going to be teaching. Finally, I have decided on a date. I released a little poll yesterday. I don't know if y'all are on my mailing list or have me on Instagram, but I released like a little doodle poll thing. And so we have collectively agreed that the workshop is going to be on Saturday, January 20th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. It's probably going to go for 2 to 3 hours. Maybe you've already seen all my posts about this, so maybe you know what I'm talking about, but just in case you don't, I'm so stoked for this. It is a year ahead tarot reading workshop. Hooray. And so I love doing year ahead readings for people. I love doing year ahead readings for myself. It's my favorite. As a Virgo rising, I'm big on schedules and planning and all of this shit. And there is nothing more plannery than doing a year ahead tarot reading. I mean, come on, guys. And it's so interesting. I really have seen this need for this in the bazillion of years that I've been in this practice, right? Where people might love tarot. They might consider themselves to be competent, maybe, intermediate to mildly advanced tarot readers, and still have a really hard time knowing how to interpret the cards in relationship to the year ahead, right? Because if you've got a card that is going to encapsulate the vibe for the entire month, we're going to read that really, really differently than if we're pulling that same card to describe our boss or our partner, or even what we should do in a situation, in a conflict with our family, or fill in the blank, whatever. Most people are used to reading tarot to deal with acute kind of immediate situations in their life. Maybe someone's cheating, maybe someone got fired, maybe you found out something you didn't really want to find out, and now you're like, oh God, what do I do with this information? It's often about dealing with some kind of immediately stressful thing and figuring a way out of that. Sometimes folks will come to me to have me read for them about some kind of systemic bullshit in their life. Maybe they notice themselves in this pattern again and again and again. Happy to read for folks on that. That's one of the most beautiful problem-solving spaces I see the tarot operate in. And the next level, honestly, I think, on top of all of this stuff, is being able to read for, let's say, a year ahead. It's a little bit easier, and I'm going to teach about this in the workshop, to read for the past, to do a reading as a part of our year ahead reading, and I always do this for myself too, to include, okay, what were the lessons of last year? Like, what did I learn in all these different areas of life? What was all this crap about? Like, what is the point? What can I take from that? What did I release? And what am I supposed to bring with me into the next season, the next year? That's a little bit easier, right? Because we've got a little bit more context. We have lived life. We can describe what happened and how we felt. Often not that ambiguous. But when we're reading for the year ahead, it's a type of reading that most people don't tend to do. And that is a predictive, or in some ways a kind of fortune tellery type of reading. And before I hear you guys freaking out, it's not 100% fortune tellery. Thank you, Awaz. She agrees, I guess. So it's not only that. The way that I teach how to read the year ahead, and the way that I personally read the year ahead for myself and for many, many clients over the years, I read in a few different ways, right? So one aspect of it, absolutely, believe it or not, is predictive, timing-based, understanding the flows of energies around months, around times that have not yet happened. And then the other side of that is working with those cards to understand, how should we best behave? How should we best deal with this situation? What conflicts will we likely encounter? And what are we best suited to spend our time and energy focusing on for that month? right? It's a lot of stuff to get from just one card per month. But this is what I've been doing in my readings for myself and others for a very long time. And what I often see with non-professional readers is that they are so freaked the fuck out to do any kind of tarot work that involves explicit prediction around the vibe. And I think a lot of times people just want to hedge their bets and like not really make a very clear statement on what they see, because they're afraid of being wrong, even if it's just to yourself. Like, I've seen people with their own little tarot journal, their own tarot notebook that no one else is ever going to read, still be afraid to commit to a meaning of like, what does this mean for the future? What does this mean for the vibe a while from now? And there is this immense fear of being wrong, a fear of embarrassment, even if it's just your own self that knows about it, no one else knows. Like, there is still this kind of shame, I think, that many people are afraid to feel when it comes to the spiritual. And when it comes to something like, let's say, tarot and a year ahead tarot reading, which is why I think so many people prefer for someone else to do it. And I'm not mad about it. Like, I love reading for people. Year ahead readings is actually my favorite type of reading to do for other folks, other than like the crisis readings. Those are also my favorite. But the predictive quality is really important. It's really potent. And I think when we learn how to read for this type of thing, for the energy of an entire month, at what it describes in terms of what might happen, and also what can we do about that, all encapsulated in one card and encapsulated in the entire spread, I think that's where the magic of tarot really shines, especially if a reader is experienced. And so with this workshop, I'm going to be teaching all about that. And if you've already done your year ahead tarot reading and you're like, I don't really understand what the fuck this means, or I don't really know how to read this, or maybe you're someone who has not done your year ahead tarot reading yet because you're like, I'm kind of like, I don't want to get a bad card, I don't want any bad vibes, so I'm just not going to do it. I've seen that too. Whichever end of the extreme you are at, or maybe you're somewhere in the middle, you're absolutely welcome to come to my workshop on year ahead tarot reading. It's going to be super exciting, super fun. It's probably going to be for, I think I already said this, but between 2 and 3 hours. It's going to be awesome. And we will also have time to go through it all together. And so again, whether you're going to do it all with us as the group, or whether you've already done it and you're still kind of like, what the hell? How do I interpret a reversed Page of Cups for December? What does it mean? Like, that's the most common thing I hear from folks. Whichever category you fit into, please come to my workshop. I think it's going to be really cool. And the other cool thing about this workshop is I'm going to do something that I've actually never done before, and it is a pay what you can workshop. So back when I was like a hippie leftist, way back, I don't know, like when I started reading professionally, I think it was sometime during my master's. So that probably would have been, I don't know, I was like 22 or something like that. And, oh my God, I just lost my train of thought, you guys. My cat just like sat on my head. Oh my God, cats, relax. They're trying to remind me what I was going to say. Oh yeah, so I actually have not done ever a pay what you can workshop. What I have done back in that era of my hippie leftist, master's student in environmental studies, potluck, protest attending season of life. This is the part of the day or night when all the cats, I'm actually recording this in the middle of the night, when all the cats want to sit on my head. So that's currently what is happening right now, is the battle to sit on my head. But I did a few readings that were pay what you can. That was my first type of offering. And I eventually discontinued it because it just didn't feel right to me. But for some reason, whatever reason, right now it does feel right to do this particular offering as pay what you can, because I just really think that a lot of people need this right now. And I think a lot of people can really benefit from this right now. I think a lot of people are in kind of on the brink of radical transformation and significant change. And I do think that, not that it's a make or break moment, but it's quite close, I would say. I do think we are at this pivotal energy space at the moment. And I do think that everyone, myself included, we all need as many tools as possible to help us maneuver through this moment. And I do believe that tarot can be such a massive help for that, to help us understand who we can be and what our best course of action is when we have this lovely roadmap of what the year ahead looks like. When we can actually map out, okay, here's the narrative of the year, here's my different areas of focus, here's how the energy is going to move as the year moves. It can help us really plan how and when to spend our time doing what, which I personally think is just an awesome thing. And so it's going to be pay what you can. I think the lowest I set it to is $29. And so that's just as an energy exchange. That is the lowest you can pay. Obviously, the whole point of pay what you can, if you guys don't know, I'm sure not everyone here has spent time in like the hippie far left. The idea behind the pay what you can, it's supposed to be a kind of like, it's by the honor system. And so the lowest amount for pay what you can, it's supposed to be for people who are really struggling, really broke, maybe unemployed, no savings, maybe you're in a lot of debt with your credit card or whatever, you're really in a hard place. The lowest part of pay what you can is supposed to be to help those people access a resource that can benefit them, to help them get through this hard time. And so I usually run my workshops for $250. So it's, as you can tell, it's like quite a significant difference. And so the whole point behind pay what you can, and why I don't pretty much ever do this, is because I do find that a lot of people who are rolling in money won't pay the full price, or like they won't pay what they can reasonably actually afford, and like what the actual value of the thing is. Like a lot of people who are rolling in the monies and maybe have a massive inheritance and own like 20 properties will still sometimes pay the lowest amount. And that is a massive pet peeve of mine. And so that actually is why I almost never, ever, ever do pay what you can, and why I likely won't ever do it again. Unless I feel inspired like once every few years, like I feel inspired right now. But that is kind of the ethos behind pay what you can. If you guys ever see that on any other offerings that anyone else is doing, just so you can kind of get what the vibe is. So the idea is that the people who can pay more do pay more. And for everyone who has done that, like, you're awesome. Thank you for being honest and badass. Like, I think that's really cool. And if you do pay less, like, I'm not judging you. Like, I don't know your situation. So I'm just going to assume that everyone is moving with integrity and honesty and authentic. And the idea is that the people who are better off financially are able to kind of help subsidize the lower income folks. And so it's supposed to be an equity achieving thing. Unfortunately, I've very rarely found that that's how it ends up going. But I'm just doing it for this time because I do know that there are a lot of folks who are priced out of some of my content. I just want to do this as like a little gift for those folks who I do know have been following me for a bazillion years, but who are like teenagers or students, or, you know, maybe don't have those resources at the moment for whatever reason. So that's the ethos behind that. And I'm really excited to teach this. I think it's going to be really fun. I think we're going to have a good group. And yeah, I would really fucking love to see you there. My first workshop of the year. I mostly actually don't teach workshops. I often teach master classes where I'm like, okay, here's the stuff, go off and do it. But with this, I really do want to actually do some of that active feedback and active, interpretation. And I will help y'all interpret the things. And if you're a budding reader, you also, might want to just sign up and see if you want to give it a go, helping other people also interpret their stuff. I'm just really excited about this. The link is going to be in the description of this podcast episode, so you'll be able to click it. And I would recommend enrolling as soon as you can, because guess what? I'm going to be limiting the time that the Pay What You Can is available. So it is going to go up to full price as soon as it hits midnight and becomes the 18th of January in the Eastern time zone. So it's going to be Pay What You Can until 11:59 p.m. on January the 17th. So you guys do have some time to think about it, but I would jump in on it as soon as you can and, share it with your friends. It's a super affordable offering. It's the lowest price of any workshop or masterclass or anything that I've literally ever taught in my life. So this is a huge steal. Please accept it as my gift to you. And even if you can't attend live, you'll be able to listen to the recording and just have access to that forever. So you can refer to it every year from now on if you want. And after the 17th, it's going to be normal price forever. Okay, friends, that's it. I've babbled enough, but I'm really stoked about this. I really get a lot of fulfillment from helping people understand themselves better. So hopefully I'll see you there. Bye, y'all.